Hey, what's going on? I'm going to be talking to Daniel Bittner today. Veteran, works with a peer support group with Wounded Warrior Project. I'm going to let some people join. All right, some people are joining. Great. Awesome. Daniel's here. Daniel, there's a little plus sign. You just hit that, and I'll have you join. How's everybody doing? Fantastic. Let's bring Daniel on. Awesome. Awesome. Great. Great. Daniel, what's going on, man?
How's it going? How's it going?
Thank you so much. We had a little miscommunication that was my fault.
That's all good.
You're in Iowa.
Yeah, that state somewhere in the middle. It's kind of
right.
cold here today, so.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Great. This entire conversation is just going to be about the weather. No, that's awesome. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Just sent the wife to go get the kids, so that means I got a while.
Oh, good. Great.
Yep.
Man. Great. Awesome. So let's just jump right into your service. When did you end up joining up?
So I actually joined on October 10th of 2001.
Oh,
That's when I actually I joined after seeing September 11th happen, and so I decided, you know what? I'm young, I'm dumb. Let's just go have some fun. So.
And how old were you when you joined?
I was 19. I'd already went to college for a little bit. I actually went to culinary arts school.
Wow.
And no, I do not cook all the food at my house. I'll just go ahead and put that out there. But yeah, so I was a chef, and I was working at a restaurant and came out and happened to see the everything going on and decided, you know what, it's my time and I could go do that. So.
Wow. So you joined the Army?
Yeah, I joined the Iowa National Guard actually. Just going to be a weekend warrior. Well, that was my thought at least.
Right.
But I joined and went off to basic 20 days after I signed up. So November 1st, I was already at basic of 2001. I did my first tour in February of 03.
Wow.
So went to Afghanistan the first time. I was just 21 at the time.
Wow. And I mean, what was that process? I mean, it seems like you were just kind of shot out of the cannon, when you joined up, going to basic, and then end up, deployed.
So I actually had it pretty great because being in the Guard, a lot of these guys, they have civilian jobs, so they understand how to deal with life on the outside and in the military.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd already had a little time to kind of learn from them on what to expect. My platoon sergeant had originally deployed to Desert Storm, so he was kind of giving us some insight on what they were thinking was going to happen. So, we were well prepared to deal with whatever was coming our way. So,
what were some of your duties over there when you were deployed?
So I was a petroleum specialist. I did fueling. I refueled aircraft. So I did C-130s, Chinooks, Blackhawks, Apaches, C-17s. We defueled Harriers. We had 50,000 gallon bags of fuel right on the flight line that we were in charge of. And then we had another 13 on the north side of Post. So we did all the downloading of all the trucks that came in from Pakistan. So we were doing all the testing, doing everything. So, and then of course, we always got that nice detail work of having to guard the local nationals going around base and doing stuff. So that was a stinky job, actually.
Wow. Okay, so then you come home, and then you were deployed, I'm guessing a second time?
Eventually, yeah. So I had quite a long time that I was home. Ended up getting married and everything. I'd met my wife right before I deployed on my first tour. She was a waitress where I was a chef. Kind of worked out beautifully. She liked food. I did too. That's a great blessing. And then I didn't go again to Afghanistan until 2010. By this time, I had my first child. He was only like 3 months old when I had him. And then I was like, oh, well, it's time for me to go down again and go down range. So, yeah.
So now how was that deployment different from your first deployment?
Well, so in the first one, so in 2003, we were so fresh in Afghanistan. So infrastructure wasn't set up as well. I was stationed in Bagram on my first deployment, so it's kind of an easy, I'd call it an easy deployment because it's a main base. We had all the luxuries that a lot of the troops don't have being on a main post. But just in that deployment, we had to do a lot of and so the difference between 2003 and 10, not only had the minds of the people there in the country had dramatically changed. So had the infrastructure, so had the stability in the country had definitely, you'd seen a major change in what was going on. So it was actually kind of nice to see that we were making a difference.
That's cool. Well, that's good. And then how long were you deployed for before you came home?
So we were over there for a year on that deployment, so 2010 through 11. So we had actually took 3,500 troops, 2,800 Iowa National Guard, and we stole 500 from Nebraska. So we were running a big portion of the country, and our guys were so greatly trained that we only ended up taking like 4 casualties, 4 KIAs. So, which was great. 2 of them, unfortunately, were really good friends of mine that we had lost. But, you know, those are the sad days, putting them on the plane, you know, and doing that farewell ceremony. But it's the way it is.
And so when you came home, what was your adjustment period like after 2 tours like that?
The second one, I got injured in my second tour. Ended up like really shattering my ankle pretty bad. So, and then, you know, never having a kid. And then now here's a kid at home. So I never had experienced that. A lot more irritability. I had a lot more going on in my head because of the things that I had seen and done on my second tour, because I wasn't in that safe haven anymore, like Bagram. I was out. And so it kind of messed with me. And then when we came back, we did the Guard does what they call a yellow ribbon event. And so what they do is it's try to reintegrate back into the civilian world. And so at that point, because I got injured over there, I had what they call LOD, a line of duty. So they actually sent me out to Fort Carson, Colorado, put me back on active duty and sent me out there to go get medically evaluated. So I was in and out of the house from 2011 until I got medically 13. So in that, you know, a little over 2.5 year period, I was flying back and forth from Iowa back out to Colorado, going through multiple surgeries. And then in the same time, my wife got pregnant, and like 20 days after I got out, we had a second kid. So now I went from not really ever having a kid to having 2 kids.
Double.
And it just, you know, I didn't have that transition time to deal with that. So, and just everything was compounding. I just thought I went into a deep spiral, like went off all social media. Just like, basically it was just kind of like, if you don't know my phone number, well, I don't care. So, but I had to reevaluate myself. And that's when I was going through med board out in Colorado, I actually had the opportunity to meet some people and do some whitewater kayaking, even though I'm not good at it.
Yeah.
But, and talking to some of these dudes, they were affiliated with the Wounded Warrior Project. They were alumni, and I'm a big sports fanatic, like massive. So since I was out there, the Denver Broncos, I'm a Cowboys fan, just put that out there. But the Denver Broncos, you know, were just up the road. So they said, hey, you sign up for the Wounded Warrior Project, you can have tickets. And it was Peyton Manning's first preseason game right after he'd gotten there. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll do this. Like, let's have some fun. So, you know, so that's actually why I originally signed up, was just because I was like, hey, I could go and experience something while I'm out here. Let's do it. So.
Yeah. Wow. So then they go to this. I hear so much about this outreach to like to get you with sports tickets. It's fantastic. It would totally get me as well. So you do that, and then how does it start kind of appealing itself in other ways?
So, so it took me a long time because, like, as you look at me physically, I look all right. Yeah, I got my 10. Why don't you look into this? Why don't you look into seeing what the Wounded Warrior Project is? And so I went to my first event, and then they asked me to come to another event, and it just kind of snowballed from there,
Mm-hmm.
and everything. And I ended up enjoying it so much that they eventually asked me and a buddy of mine that I kind of conned in to the Wounded Warrior Project to start a peer support group here in the Des Moines, Iowa area. So that's what we did.
That's amazing. And how did it? I hear that as well. Like so much of this, the conversation revolving around invisible wounds and PTSD, and something that you don't, the wounds that you're not even aware that you have. How did it feel like for you starting that peer support group with your buddy like that, and out? How did you use what Wounded Warrior gave you to do that, and how did you start to build that following?
So, I'm a go-getter. I was a very competitive man back in my day. Now I've kind of gotten a little older and slower,
Uh-huh.
but it was just I knew that like as a senior NCO when I had retired, I'd made rank pretty quick, and I liked being in charge, and I loved being able to help and guide people. So it was kind of fitting. The guy that came alongside of me, Matt Cowie, he's also a Wounded Warrior Project alumni. Um, he was also served in the same two tours with me. We like are like brothers, you know. So I just kind of was like, hey, guess what? You're going to come and do this with me. So I kind of conned him, and we've had a great. We started. They actually had started the first group. I was actually gone because I was at a Wonder Warrior Project Odyssey event, so I wasn't even at the first one. And they had 3 people there on that first group. And now a lot of times we're pulling about 20 veterans in the area a month into our group and coming out just to have dinner, just to talk, just to chat, and just kind of have a point of vent and just to kind of let the world kind of be away from them, but yet still be here and understand that, there's going to be challenges and how do we walk through them and what can we do? So it's been a blessing to be a part of that.
One of the things I love about your story is like there's this very common thread with some veterans in that, and I think it's mental health sometimes specifically, is this bear down aspects that
Mm-hmm.
usually ties into some form of isolation. There's this misconception that you need to board up your windows and doors and everything to kind of, even whether it be literal or figurative, to just kind of fight your way out of this. And it's interesting how then through Wounded Warrior and then your own just personal life experience and probably your relationship with your kids and wife went a direct 180 into now supplying support, not only, just not seeking support for yourself, but then supplying that support for other veterans, and how crucial outreach and just camaraderie is. And especially it seems like that is a major component to military life that you feel like you might be missing, that camaraderie.
Yeah. So, when I got out, I felt like I was lost, because when I got meted out, I lost I also worked for the Iowa National Guard full time as a federal technician. So I lost that job. I lost my military career. I lost everything in a moment. And so I was like, what do I do now? Like, where's my direction? What's my path? Where am I supposed to fit in this world? And what's my objectives? go out there and work, but I can just be there for when people need me. Because he's blessed us financially to live a life that we can, like, that we have now. And so when I was able to just realize, like, I don't have to have a job to have a purpose. I don't have to work outside of the home to have a purpose. My purpose can just be breathing life into others or just being there to listen. And once I started kind of catching on to that, that's when I really started growing. And it took me a long time. Like, and just because you're on a high today doesn't mean that you're always going to be a high. You could be on a level 5 and like, man, things are the best. You're at the top of the peak. But all it takes is one bad thing to happen, one smell, one sight, one thing, and they'll throw you right back down. But it's to have the people around you to help guide you and build you back up. And that's where the peer group, even though, you know, I've been a leader in that, I still need the people around. I still need that base layer to help pick me up. I still need the ones that are in the group to be there and to notice when, hey, something seems off with him. Let's talk this out. And when they can start realizing the signs too, then they should be able to start realizing the signs in themselves to start knowing when they need the help before it gets too late.
Amazing. And so how do you feel like the peer group is growing, and what are your plans for the peer group going forward?
Well, you never know. We're always trying to reach out. Mind you, we're in Iowa, so we're not like, we don't have a major base close. So it does kind of make it a little tougher. But it isn't always about the amount of people. It's about what you're doing. What is the impact that you are making? Are you seeing people grow? Are you seeing people that were down and out that have now started taking steps to work through the issues they have? When you see that, you know you're doing what you're supposed to do. Yeah. And so the group, it could grow. Yes, would it be awesome to have 50 people? Yeah. But the problem is when you get to that size, sometimes what kind of quality are you giving them, each person? What are you really giving out? And that's where sometimes, if it grows that big, we just add another group, get good quality individuals that are thriving, and have them, hey, let's go. Let's start another one. Let's just keep this going. Don't stop. Let's just have fun and see where we can go.
That's amazing, man. Super cool. So, I mean, it's been awesome talking to you. Do you have any kind of parting words that you would want to give to other veterans who would be watching this?
Well, to me, as I'm walking through all these issues every day and everything, I found that the best way to work through something is to actually go feet in, just go all in. Because like nighttime is my disability. Like nighttime and me are not buddies. Like I don't have, my hearing is gone. I wear dual hearing aids. I just hit 40 and I've had them since I was 28. But during COVID, I had the opportunity to be stupid and buy a house out in the middle of nowhere. House out in the middle of nowhere. Like I didn't have, city lights to, open up and have all the doors. But what I did have is I had a purpose in what I needed to do. I had to go and fight and know that I needed to get through this. And so what I would suggest to any veteran is go and just run through that door. Just go at it. Because if you don't, you never know what's on the other side. Am I great after a year of living like that? No. But am I better? Absolutely. And so you will never know until you fight those fears head on.
So much of that in every portion of your life, it has to be just a day-by-day thing. Everybody, even if they're not a veteran suffering from PTSD or something, it's just about trying to be a better person. And I love that those are, the parting words that you give. Dude, it was super awesome. Thank you so much for giving your time like this and talking to me. I'm glad we figured it out.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, so anybody else is watching, if they are interested in, if you're a veteran and you're interested in Wounded Warrior Project, there's the website, which gives a lot of information on them, as well as their social media on Instagram and Twitter. They're very active. If you're interested in donating, I have a link on my page right now in the bio, but you can just go to the website, donate there. It goes to all sorts of different programs within the organization, and I love this support group as well. You can check Dan out on his profile, should be linked in here, and go check him out and check out the support group, especially if you're in Iowa.
Thank you for your time today.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. Stay in contact.
Yep, will do. Take care.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.